And that's about how far my new follower gets. Hi, Miss Eve. Is that your favorite spot? Yeah, is that your favorite spot? You silly goober. Oh, she's a mess. Good morning. Welcome back to River Mountain Homestead. I hope everybody enjoyed Chris's birthday video yesterday. We have had a couple of rainy days around here, so I've kind of been taking it easy. I ran yesterday and got a little bit more lumber so I can get their porch or deck or whatever finished up on the doghouse. I did break down and buy a sheet to cover their gables, and we got to try the booger hole out several times the other night during tornado warnings. I got a little bit of footage of that. Calm before the storm. We are trying out our storm cellar again this evening. We've got a tornado warning for our area. Pretty nasty supercell fixing to pass by us here. And this is the forefront of us. We've got 3 dogs in here. I'm not sure where Bee's at. She is in hiding somewhere, so prayers for Miss Bee wherever she may be. Hey. This phone does not capture the amount of lightning that is striking over here. 70-mile-an-hour straight line winds. Golf ball size hail supposed to be in this. And the rain is just beginning, so it's rolling up on us. So I am, ouch, time to get in the booger hole. Well, we survived the first round and made it back into the house and got in bed, and it lasted for about 30 seconds. And then the tornado warning alarms went back off again. That second cell that was coming in was dying out and decided it was going to spin back up. So we got our second tornado warning. Still don't know where Miss B's at. It is now a little after 11 p.m. and it's way past these old folks' bedtime. Rowdy is extremely concerned. Oh. But we're piled back in the booger hole for round 2. Maybe this will be the last nasty cell that comes through tonight. And maybe nobody's watching this video and we're not here anymore. If so, we love you, everybody, and hope you figured out my passcode. Maybe you can find my thumb. She's laughing and making me bounce. Can't go out with a sense of humor. You can't go out. Stop biting me, dog. That right there is the face of one worried dog. He knows his daddy's got him and ain't nothing gonna happen to him. You got your daddy and your blankie, and that's all you need, right? Thankfully, nothing major that night, other than a little bit of missed sleep. But that's all right. It's better to be safe than sorry sometimes. It's hard to get used to the critter between your legs all the time. We now have 2 broody hens, and we have 2 full nesting boxes. So the other ladies have went nuts and have started laying in the yard and in their house and just anywhere and everywhere on top of the broody chickens. I'm probably going to try to throw together a little scrap just for a 3rd nesting box to set inside their house for now, so they've got a spot to get to lay eggs, because it's chaos. The incubator has got about 9 days left on it. Those should be hatching next Saturday. Eve is chewing on the tripod. That's why this is shaking. So next Saturday for more chickens hatching. At that point in time, I'll get these others out of this brooder and into the house, and then we'll move them out. But we'll worry about that later. Figured I'd take you guys along today and try to give you a full garden tour. I think I'm going to try to do this about once a week, just so you can try to keep up with me, because if I go 2 days, 3 days without walking out there, and it's just like, holy moly, what is going on? And I got a couple of questions on some tomato plants that I seem to be having a little bit of trouble with, and maybe there's some tomato experts out there that can help me with that. So beginning of the garden here. This is the first row. These are the tomato plants that were gifted to me. And everything in this row except the very last one down there were all gifted to me, and they are doing fantastic. I've got blooms on nearly all of them, and they're climbing up into these cages just rapidly. And about every 2 or 3 days, I'm picking these bottom limbs off and pulling suckers and trying to keep them tidied up and neat and ready to go. Now, right beside it here, in this other row, these guys are all a little bit wilty. And they were planted at the exact same time. These were acquired from a local nursery. And they're just not doing as great. They look a lot better today than they did yesterday. All of these plants have had the same amount of water, the same amount of freezing nights and everything else. And you can see there's a couple of these right down here that are looking even worse for wear. This guy right here is just sad. And I don't feel like they were underwatered or overwatered. Mother Nature's been pretty much taking care of them as far as the watering is concerned. I don't know if they are diseased. I've tried to keep everything off the ground and the suckers off. You can see this one during the rain got to hang out on the mud some, but it's just so wilty. They're just blah. And I'm not seeing any color variances on the leaves. Like I say, they're looking a little bit better today. When I first transplanted them is when it started. And I just assumed it was the transplant like anything, and I figured within a couple of days it'd spring right back to life. And it just didn't. But if you compare this poor wilty guy to his neighbor right here, that's just flourishing, and I swear I just took all these suckers off yesterday or day before. I mean, this guy's just booming. Looks super healthy, super stock. And this one's even got a good stock on it, but they're wilty. I don't know. And nearly everything I got from that nursery was that way, but several of them have come around. But there's several of these here that just hadn't yet. So if you got any ideas, do I need to pull them, burn them, get rid of them? Is there some way to treat these guys? They're growing, but they're just blah. For anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about on the suckers, these little guys right here that come up from your leaf stems here and your main stem, just pull all those little guys off. You can actually create a new plant from those if you let them grow a little bit, but they're just sucking life out of the plant. It's an every couple of day ordeal for me out here. Many more, y'all. Start training these guys in my little cages here as they get tall enough. But there's just blooms everywhere. It won't be long and we're gonna have our first round of tomatoes. And then here, this last one, you can see how it's kind of a wilty feller. Came from the nursery. So all these guys have the exact same living conditions, but all the ones I got from the nursery are just blah. I don't get it. Maybe somebody can help me with that. Butter crunch lettuce down here is doing great. And its little carrot neighbors are coming right along with it. Strawberries are just bebopping right along, doing fantastic. I need to build a better netted cage around these guys, give them a little bit of opportunity to spread out a little bit more. These are the sunflowers down on the ends of the rows. I've got a few that did not come up, but for the most part, most of these guys are just hustling and bustling. Squash is coming right along. I believe this was either, I don't even remember if it was a straight or a crooked neck. Yellow squash. A lot of times I'll plant 2 on these to make sure they come up, and then I'll either pull one, move it somewhere else where one didn't come up, or just eliminate it. Just like this right here, there would have been 2 seeds. There's 1 plant. But if you look down the row, squash just bebopping, popping right along. Same thing for the neighboring row here. And then we get started over here on the cucumbers. They are coming along just great. My loofah gourds have come up. And the snake gourds have even made their appearance now. There's several rows of these bush beans. And these guys are just coming right along. This row is my red Indian beans. And if I don't get a trellis built on these pretty quick, they're going to get out of hand and get away from me. This row is the old homestead pole beans. Same thing, going to get away from me real quick. The next row over here is also the homestead beans. And these last 2 rows here are the Trail of Tears black beans. These are also a pole bean. And you remember me starting this trellis the other day, and you see how far I've made it. We've already climbed up past that first rope and headed toward the second. And we don't even have feelers out yet to even start grabbing a hold of anything. But they're headed in the right direction for sure. The only thing we don't have up yet at all is the corn. And I'm sure by next week update, it probably will be. I don't remember what was planted where, but these are some of the flowers that we planted in front of the garden here. And I've had to put rocks around them because this young lady likes to lay on them because this is a shady spot. Isn't that right, Miss B? And there she goes. She had to shift her spot over, but she was laying on the flowers. And then the chickens definitely enjoy them also. All right, Miss B. Is that a good shady spot? But these little flowers are just springing up all up and down through here. And then you have some that the free-range chickens are just absolutely enjoying. But that basically concludes what we're going to call the garden update week 1. I'm going to try to do this at least weekly, and if I forget, somebody may have to remind me, because this time of year things start to take over and get out of control, and it's easy to forget because there's so many things going on. Thank you everybody for wishing us a happy anniversary. That is tomorrow. Mama's going to be at Special Olympics with Chris while he's competing. And I've got a big auction over here close to the house that I'm going to go see if I can't score a deal on something. And I think we've got plans on Sunday to go up to a place called War Eagle Mill. And they still ground their own flour and cornmeal and all that stuff up there with the water wheel on the creek and all that stuff. If you've never had an opportunity to go to something like that, we're going to bring you guys along. So we'll see what kind of footage we can get of that Sunday. Yeah, it should be pretty neat. And I think the water's really high up there. It's up in northwest Arkansas around a little town called, I say a little town, it's around Rogers, Arkansas. And I've not been up there since I was a child, so I don't remember it at all. So it'll be a really neat experience. And you can tell by these chickens over here, they definitely need another nesting box. They're kind of having it out over there. I'm going to jump on this doghouse, finish the gables, finish the porch, try to throw a little nesting box together. We'll get a little fast forward footage here getting this doghouse finished out, and maybe Mama will paint it. Are we 4 weeks or 5 weeks in trying to get the chicken coop painted now? I don't know. So don't let up on her. Don't let up on her. Well, now they at least have their completed deck. I've got Bee's little food bowl over here. I've got another one of those down at the cabin I gotta give for Miss Eve. I'm sure they'll end up sharing, but I need to hang it up on the wall. I just hadn't done it yet. That's my plan anyway. We'll see. But porch done. Now to get started on these eaves. There we go. And I only put like 2 finished nails in each little piece so that I can pry it off real easily when Mama does get ready to paint. And then she can paint the underneath, and then I can just throw it right back up there and tack it in place and it'll be done. Just got to do the same for the back. And I'm getting real close to being done with this little project. Well, I got most of the weeds beat down out here in the yard, what few I do have, and it's warm. Thanks for tuning in with me, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button, and we will catch y'all on the next one.